which describes a principle or value of the qualities of success. Use the word of the week in your thoughts, deeds, and actions. You can replace a good habit with a bad habit. You can use it as an action step. Kenneth O'Neal will bring you a word of the week each week, and it will help you to improve your life, relationships, professional career, and your overall well-being. I know you'll enjoy Word of the Week with Kenneth O'Neal. Kenneth O'Neal is a certified Zig Ziglar trainer and the head of O'Neal Consulting in Kerrville, Texas. The word of the week is united.
And we want people to write this word down and use it as they go through the week. Use it in their actions and their deeds. But before we get into there, I think there's a couple of things that we need to let and make people that are listening in, make them aware. November the 10th was the 249th birthday of the United States Marines.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I hobnobbed with them a while.
I know you did, and I wanted to make sure that we thank all those guys in the United States Marines. They had a great big ball last night, and it was just a wonderful time. And then, as you said earlier, Veterans Day today.
Yes, sir.
And Veterans Day, it's okay to say Happy Veterans Day, because this day is the commemoration of all who have served. All who have served. And of course, in May, we will, remember those that have passed away.
And not to be confused with that celebration. Those
Right.
are the vets who have passed or were killed or
Right.
So
Yeah, but it's for all who have served. And it really started out as just
Armistice Day, right? No?
Armistice, yeah. But it just started out to commemorate World War I veterans. But then later on, they began to add veterans from all wars and then all that have served. And I think Congress had a resolution, maybe sometime in the 50s or 60s. But anyway, today, Veterans Day. So when you thank them for their service, the United States of America. And what we're going to talk about today is how important it is to be united in our beliefs and in our values. So the core meaning is rooted in the ideas of words that we think about. When we think about united, we think about unity, oneness, a coming together, and agreement. So all of those things are underlying the word of united. And it implies a harmony coming not from the fact that, we have this uniform kind of way, but it actually is for a shared purpose, working together for a united purpose. The belief that many parts, you bring a bunch of parts together and you can function as one to achieve the goals that would be unreachable alone.
Absolutely. And to add to what you're saying, I think we're on the precipice of explosion of patriotic and united, all of those things together.
Right.
Going back to what we should be doing or should have been doing years ago.
Right.
So.
And you're totally right. And so I think I've got 4 or 5 ways that we can actually move that, because it saddens me to think about some good friends of mine who, and I love Southern gospel music, and some good friends of mine who were actually They died in an airplane crash a couple of months ago, but they had written a song, and they were going to present the song at a conservative get together in Washington, D.C., bringing in Congress people and everybody. But the name of this song is called America Has a Hole in Its Heart.
Mm.
Isn't that?
Mm-hmm.
That is so powerful as to where we are now. So that's why this word of being united is very, very important. The concept of unity has been, over the years, very pivotal in the social and political realms in forming these groups. And as we kind of hit on, a great example was what we formed years ago for the United States of America. And, you know, I always try to look at the positive side, and sometimes if there's some negative to one of the words we might do, sometimes there might be a negative or, with the pros and cons of the word. But this word symbolizes corporation and peace and strength. So it's all positive, and it's just the aligning of individual perspectives, the skills of individuals, their effort, their attitude. And when we put all this together, we get a greater collection of people that we can work toward this common good. And they had to have this when they brought those 13 colonies together.
Oh, for sure.
They had to have all 13 of them working, all 13, to gain the independence and to establish a new nation. A new nation, that's what came out of this idea of being united. And originally, we brought together diverse groups with varied beliefs, varied backgrounds, and interests under a single nation with a common constitution.
Yeah, they talked with each other.
They talked. They had dialogue. They had meetings.
Exactly.
And it represented, at that time, united in principles such as liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness, even though they had differences. They took the statement, I love this statement, is that we can disagree and still love people.
Oh, sure.
Still care for them. And it can be challenging of what we're talking about. Can be. And we need to have compromise, tolerance, and mutual respect for all. And one of the biggest problems we have is a lot of people have fear of losing their original identities or maybe even their beliefs. So here are the steps.
I knew you were going to come up with those.
Okay. Here are the steps for unity in the United States that need to be taken not only at a country basis, but our individual, we need to do this. Number one, we must have open dialogue. It is essential to talk with one another. Conversations that bridge diverse viewpoints, which allow individuals to understand each other's experiences and beliefs. And one of the things that you and I have pushed and pushed and pushed about this idea of community, when we have community, there are three things we must do. Support everyone. Give hope to everyone. Encourage them. But hold them accountable in the community. Okay, that's number one. Having conversation. Second, we need to, our goals that focus on common objectives. We talked about this, community welfare, justice, and obtaining peace when we've got these personal differences, but we can bring them into collaborated aspirations of the goals. In other words, where do we really want to go from where we are now?
Mm-hmm.
And it would be great if we could heal that heart that has a crack in it.
Oh, for sure.
Thirdly, education plays a vital role in promoting unity. Citizens must look at the historical struggles that we've had. I mean, it never was just a piece of cake.
No.
There were lots of struggle. Look at our achievements over all of these years. Look at our diverse perspectives. Encourage empathy and understanding. And number 4, and boy, do we need this, leadership.
That we do.
Leadership is so crucial, and leaders must model this idea of unity by showing respect and kindness, fostering inclusivity, and prioritizing the welfare of all citizens over partisan interests.
Absolutely.
It's a foundational and positive ideal that calls for individuals to come together.
You got to sit down and chat about it.
You got to talk. You got to cross the aisle. You got to do it. The United States of America is not just a name, but a guiding principle. It's a pledge to work on harmony for justice, freedom, and the welfare of all.
There you go.
Great word. Gosh. And we can use it in thinking this week. How can we become more united? Be kind, be considerate. You know, everybody says, let's do a random act of kindness. No, why can't we be kind 24/7?
Yep.
Care for people, love people, even though you have differences. They're not worth the fight.
No, that's true. I mean, reach across the aisle, as a lot of politicians say, but don't do.
Right. More conversation.
Yeah.
More conversation. Well, thank you so much. I think that
the word of the week, unity.
Unity. United.
And that's why so many corporations are named that way. United Airlines.
United Air. There's a company too called United Food Services or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So a lot of different things. Yeah.
So, at any rate, take that word and use it.
Think about it. What can you do?
And
What was that John F. Kennedy said? Not what the country can do for you, but what can you do for the country?
Kenneth O'Neal, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to chat with him, he's always up for doing a little chit chat.
And coffee. Don't
And
forget coffee.
And you can do so by merger at windstream.net. That's one. And then you've got the phone number.
Phone number is area code 830-285-7010. 830-285-7010. And they can just text and say, hey, how about coffee?
This is Tom Fox. I'm a co-founder of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. If you've enjoyed this podcast and you would like to talk to us about getting your own podcast on the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network, we'd love to talk to you. So you can reach us at our website, through our website, the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. Word of the Week with Kenneth O'Neal is our latest podcast, and we will present Kenneth's word each week going forward. They will be insightful, they will be useful, they will be important, and can be a significant increase of all aspects of your life. I hope you'll subscribe, rate, and review this podcast wherever great podcasts are listened to. This is Tom Fox. Thank you so much.